So welcome to this Midlife Body Explained training. It's a webinar for women in midlife. I intentionally decided to keep it, kind of general because there is no certain age that would kind of set a time frame for changes that we're going to discuss. It's a very, not certain period of time in a woman's life when we start experiencing those changes, and I will explain why. Some specialists right now call it perimenopause, some call it menopause, but I personally have my own inner conflict with it, and I'm going to explain why I don't like to call those perimenopause changes. I mean, if those changes that's happening before menopause, I mean, how far back we willing to go when we're in our 30s, in our 20s? And there are many changes happening in the body, right? So not every age that is before menopause is associated with the changes that we're going to discuss. So we're going to talk about midlife body. For some women, it starts about 40. I would say for most women, those symptoms, those changes start happening after 40. Some women, by the way, will start experiencing them in 35 or late 30s, I would say. And some women will be fine until their 50s, right? So it's a very broad time in our lives. But yet, the changes are very specific, and that's what we're going to talk about. What's happening in the body and how it shows up, how it plays out in our symptoms. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to put some presentation for you. So I want to just introduce myself. My name is Polina Leroy, and I am originally from Russia. Right now, I live in Colorado. I met an amazing guy and decided to move to the United States to share my lab with him. And so that's why I'm here in Colorado. But I grew up in Kazakhstan and then spent most of my life in Russia, living in St. Petersburg. I got my PhD in consumer behavior, and I was, teaching at university and mostly working as an associate professor and doing research when my life changed. And I realized that I started seeing inside the body, and that kind of shifted everything for me. First, I could sense that my father had a cancer. He was diagnosed with cancer pretty much within a few months after I started feeling this change in his body. And so after that experience, I kind of shifted from academic career, and I devoted my life to exploring and learning about the body and what's happening inside the body, because I think his death had a huge impact on me. It was very sudden to all of us, and I felt horrible about not knowing what's causing cancer, what caused his cancer. And I just wanted to find out what is it happening inside the body. So I want to take care of myself, my own body, and people I love. And so I started practicing intuitive gifts seen inside the body. And when I do it, I usually practice seeing, I practice hearing what's happening in the body, because sometimes I use clairaudience. Sometimes I receive like certain messages that just come to me as an inner knowledge. So, sometimes I use my own body to feel what's off in my client's body. So it's a quite intuitive and complicated process. But that's what I've been doing for 12 years, even more than 12 years, just working with real bodies, working with real women, and helping them to, gain health back, regain their health. I was working one-on-one with lots of clients and also teaching for many years as an energy healer. I was teaching people how to see inside the body. I was teaching intuitive anatomy in many countries around the world. Besides that, I am a mom. I'm 45. I'm a mom of a 3-year-old girl, and I like to share everything I know about the body with her. She's a, she's hysterical. And if you can see pictures behind me, that's her drawing. We put them on the wall. And in human design, I'm a splitting projector. If you know anything about human design, projectors is a type who is mostly focusing on others. So I meant to guide others. And because I'm splenic projector, I'm a very intuitive person. So what I do is I focus on what's happening in other person's body, and I kind of penetrate the auric field of my clients and the body, and I just see what's happening inside that. But because I'm very good at seeing what's happening in other people's body, right? Because of kind of penetrating auric field that I have, it's very hard and it's almost impossible for me to see what's happening in my own body because I always focusing on others. But you have one gift and don't have another. Can't complain. Um, because I was so, I think, curious, just genuinely curious. I also developed this kind of investigative mind, which is number one in my projector design. And that means that I'm meant to study. And that's what I've been doing my whole life, right? First, I was studying consumer behavior, and then I was studying what's happening in the body. Keep studying. I think it's never ending process. And I want to share with you what I learned over the years of my practice. And I want to kind of prepare you for what's happening, what's coming, because I know certain changes that we experience, they are indicators of very deep, significant changes, shifts that's happening inside the body, and I want you to be prepared. So please use me. I'm here for you for this time that we have here, an hour and a half, I think at least. Usually that's how this webinar lasts. But if you're not too tired and you want to stay longer, I'm going to be here for you. So when I shifted my career and I started working with women, believe it or not, for a couple of years, maybe because of my subconscious fear of cancer, because my drive to find out what it is, I had mostly women clients coming to me with cancer. For the first 2 years, all of my clients were struggling with cancer. I think partly because I wanted to know what's happening in the body that has a cancer, and partly because women with cancer are usually quite desperate and they want to look for alternative solutions. And so I had many clients coming to me with cancer. And I worked with many women who had a breast cancer, who had ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, and I was learning all about it. And there are many things that I learned about what it is and how to prevent it, right? What kind of triggers happen in our body? So how can we reverse cancer and how can we prevent it in the first place? Because it's much easier to prevent than deal with it when it's already there. Another couple of years, right after that period of time, I had women coming to me with autoimmune conditions. So I was working with women who came to me with rheumatoid arthritis or Hashimoto's. And what I learned, again, what's causing all these autoimmune conditions, and I think I had so many clients coming to me because conventional medicine tells them there's nothing we can do with it, your body's attacking itself, and we can only manage your symptoms, but there's no cure for that. Whereas me going inside the body, I saw a completely different picture. I saw exactly what's causing it, and I knew how to address it. And then later, I had a woman coming to me with gaining weight and some menopausal changes. So I had to learn about that aspect of health, women's health as well, right? All I'm learning is I'm learning from bodies that come to me. I'm learning from clients who come to me with their problems, and I just usually I would say, I don't know what's going on, but let's see. I'm willing to go inside the body and see what's happening. And if I don't understand something, I would usually ask for the creator to guide me. And so I want to share with you what I learned about menopausal changes. If you are in perimenopause or menopause, or generally, let's say, if you are over 40, most women will experience those symptoms. So if you notice that you experience weight gain, and it's not just weight gain, it's a very stubborn weight gain, right? It's not manageable as easily as it used to be. This is typical for usually women over 40. If we experience fluid retention, for example, you notice that you wake up in the morning and you have puffy eyes and the whole face kind of swollen, and you notice that you have maybe swollen ankles and sometimes wrists, right? That's a very common symptom. You might notice also that you have a bloating or digestive issues. Maybe your hormones out of balance, which is, to be fair, they meant to be out of balance after 40 in terms of estrogen starts declining, right? So we have less and less estrogen. But that's the only one aspect that should be out of normal, right? So we should still have normal levels of progesterone, for example, right? If you notice that you're experiencing brain fog, and it's like when you think you need to go through some walls, if you notice that you wake up and you already feel tired, right? And generally throughout the day, somewhere in the middle of the day, you feel like you need to take a nap, right? It's another common perimenopause symptom that happen over 40 usually. Low libido, we find ourselves not being interested in sex, and sometimes it can be associated with the vaginal dryness as well. Many women start struggling with night sweats and hot flashes. Some women report that they experience sleep disturbance, right? Waking up at 3 a.m. Joint pain. All of these symptoms are very common for women after 40. And again, sometimes we develop them at 40, sometimes 45, 50. It's hard to say, but in general, it happens somewhere in midlife. So what are those symptoms mean? What do they mean? Why do we suddenly start experiencing those symptoms? Let me tell you what's happening. What happens is that our body's changing on a much deeper level, and these changes are not caused by menopause. They're not caused by estrogen decline, as we are told. So I'm struggling to call those symptoms perimenopause symptoms because they're not associated with menopause. Okay, they associate with other more serious things in the body. Menopause and decline of estrogen can be contributing factor, but it's not the root cause. And I want you to understand and be aware of it. So even if you start HRT, right? If you decide to supplement estrogen, it's not going to solve the root cause. And that's what I want to share with you. There are other more serious changes happening in the body that we need to be aware of. And menopause by itself, it's not a problem. In fact, in traditional Chinese medicine, the perspective on menopause is quite different than from our conventional medicine. In our society, women are taught that it's one of the most difficult periods in life where your health pretty much crashing, right? You losing your health. Your body is fighting against you. And this is not the case in the traditional Chinese medicine. Traditional Chinese medicine actually says that menopause and period after menopause is a second spring or second youth of a woman. And it's actually a beautiful time in life where women become more intuitive, they become closer to their true selves, they become more outspoken, they become braver, more open about who they are and what they believe in. And women become, in general, less fearful about other people's opinions, right? And on the physical level, usually what happens is that the channel, energetic channel between our heart and our uterus changes direction. So usually the energy would go from heart to uterus, right, to um, provide nourishment for new life or for menstruation. But when we enter in menopause, the direction of energy is shifting and the energy goes back from uterus to heart, right? And that's a beautiful time in our life when we actually get to enjoy life. And I think we shouldn't forget about it. Menopause is supposed to be a beautiful time in our life, and we're not supposed to suffer. We're not supposed to struggle. What do you think about it? How does it sound? Tell me what you think. Do you want to struggle, or you want to know how to enjoy this life? Because that's what I want to share with you, how to actually enjoy your body and how to enjoy the life that your body is providing for you. Because I personally believe that this body is meant to be here for us so we can enjoy this life and we can enjoy this body. We have so many senses in our body, and when we not supposed to take care of others, when we become focused on ourselves and our body, that exactly where menopause will support us. Then I say I love approach. Yes, yes. I love this too, and I think that's actually closer to the truth than what we are told right now about menopause. I love it, and I'm here to tell you exactly how we can make it happen. So let's talk about what's actually happening. As we age, we consistently add to our toxic load to the body, right? The toxins being accumulated in the body over decades, or more and more and more and more. And at a certain point, we reach the limits where, like, our liver says, can't handle anymore. That's too much for me, right? And you will see how many symptoms actually associate with it. Another trend that I see inside midlife bodies is that pathogenic load, which means viral load, bacterial load, mold, usually increases with age. And it's especially the case for women, especially for midlife women. Let me explain why is this a women's problem and not men. Men don't have our reproductive system. They don't have to menstruate every month. And they don't have compromised immune system like we do. When we menstruate, our immune system is being drawn to reproductive organs for about 30% of the time for menstruation and then for ovulation, right? Because immune system is, and the body itself is prioritizing reproductive system at the moment. And so immune system being drawn to reproductive organs, and it says, okay, pretty much the rest of the body, you're going to take care of yourself. You're going to survive it, right? I have different priorities. Now, when we are pregnant, the same thing happens, right? Body is prioritizing pregnancy and growing baby, and so immune system will be drawn to reproductive system to protect the baby from bacterial and viral infection. And so usually when women are pregnant or when we menstruate, we have a compromised immune system. And you might notice that when we have a compromised immune system, we tend to develop more symptoms associated with the bacterial or viral load. For example, you notice that you easier get sick, or you develop acne, which is a bacterial infection, or you might notice that you have a migraines around period, right? Migraines usually caused by viral infection as well, right? So all those symptoms actually caused by inflammation in the body, and any inflammation is caused by viral load or bacterial load, right? And so when we talk about menopause, excuse me, menopause is only one small contributing factor, because usually when estrogen declines, that means that we have less hormone that actually provides for us anti-inflammatory properties, right? And so over time, while we age, we usually experience increase of pathogens load, inflammation, and we experience toxic load, which overloads our liver. Additional stress factors can be trauma, can be loss, pregnancy and birth. Some financial stress can exacerbate those problems. And that's why sometimes women develop autoimmune conditions. That's why sometimes women develop cancer, right? But in general, we need to keep in mind increase of toxic load in the body and increase of inflammation. So let's talk about stagnant, slow liver. How does it show up in the body? When you experience those symptoms like stubborn weight gain, to be honest, any weight gain, insulin resistance, when you notice blood sugar spikes up and down, you notice dark circles under eyes, you might notice also hair loss or your hairs become more thin and brittle, low immune system, dark spots, and hyperpigmentation. Those are indication of stagnant overloaded liver. Premature aging, fluid retention, also symptoms of stagnant overloaded liver. Hormonal imbalances. You want me to comment on how actually stagnant liver is contributing to hormonal imbalance? Because I can do that if you want. Yes, okay. So what's happening is when body has, for example, hormonal imbalances like estrogen dominance, for example, or prevalence of stress hormones in the body, it's the liver's responsibility to take care of it. You know, the liver is meant to actually absorb and remove from the bloodstream excess hormones, whatever it is. It is usually estrogen. Sometimes it can be cortisol. Sometimes it can be adrenaline, right? It's the liver's job to balance hormones by removing excess hormones. Now, if the liver is overloaded with toxins, if the liver is struggling to control how much toxins we have in the body, that's where we develop estrogen dominance. That's where we develop progesterone estrogen imbalances, right? That's where we develop, for example, more inflammation that can be caused by adrenaline and cortisol being present in the bloodstream. Okay, so that's really important. And if you look only at endocrine system, right? If you only look at the thyroid or ovaries as a glands that produce hormones, you will never find solution because you need to focus on the liver, not on endocrine system, right? Because the liver is playing a huge part in this. Another note, I would say, indication that you might have a stagnant, overloaded liver can be PMS. Many women right now experience PMS. In fact, it is normalized in our society that women have PMS. There's so many jokes about it, right? So many memes about women in PMS, right? When women experience PMS symptoms. But the truth is, when we experience PMS symptoms, that usually means that, again, our liver is struggling and our lymphatic system becomes stagnant as well because of the liver. And all those excessive hormones being in the lymphatic system that cause our, mood swings, or we experience like breast, what's it called? Like, when the breast become like sensitive, they become swollen, right? All of this is actually happening because of lymphatic system stagnation, and lymphatic system is very, very connected and they work together with the liver. And so usually if the lymphatic system is stagnant, that's lack of movement, but also because of the liver. I'm looking at the questions. Besides lifestyle and dietary change, what can we do to safely detoxify the liver? I would say we can add certain things to the liver detox. That you can add some supplements that will support the liver detox, but lifestyle and dietary changes are number one thing. No supplements will help you to detoxify if you don't address diet. Hate to deliver, but it's true. When I was working with my own liver, um, I only see results when I started doing proper gentle liver detox, but a proper one, okay, like a serious one. um, would I suggest lymphatic dry brushing? Yes, absolutely. Would it be enough without addressing the liver? No. But when you want to address lymphatic system plus liver, yes, dry brushing definitely a great way to do it. Okay, great questions. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Those are great questions. So, in general, what toxins we're exposed to? Toxic heavy metals are seriously, they're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. There is no way to escape them. Uh, like toxins like, let's say, metals like lead, mercury, aluminum. I see them in the body almost everywhere. They can be, some of them can be in the brain, some of them can be in the intestinal lining, some of them can be in the thyroid, inside the bones, right? We have toxic heavy metals, but they everywhere. It's like the matter of location, but we all have them. Some people have more copper and mercury. Some people have more aluminum and mercury. It's unique combination of toxic heavy metals. Each one of us has, but we all have toxic heavy metals, and we all have to detoxify from them. Parabens usually come from us using lots of plastic packaging. Also, lots of personal care products have parabens and phthalates. DDT and other pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. Do you guys know that when you buy clothes, they usually come sprayed, if you order online for Amazon, they usually delivered being sprayed with fungicides because they try to prevent it from growing mold. But the fact that we exposed to them, it is there. So it's always good to wash your clothes before wearing them. Microplastics. I saw recent research that they say that first microplastic was found in placenta, right? Which tells us that our babies, when we're pregnant, unfortunately exposed to microplastics. They're about estimates that about 5% of our brain weight actually is made of microplastics. How about that? So our liver, I always see liver is like a mama bear. The liver is constantly working to protect us, and it's sacrificing itself all the time. And it it's working for us day and night, right? And unfortunately, um, our liver is usually reaching the limit when it says, I can't do it anymore. It's failing to perform its function, which is producing bile for breaking down fats. And that's how we start accumulating fats, because unfortunately, the quality of the bile is not good enough to break down fats, right? And so the liver is doing its best, but fats have to be accumulated in order to break them down later when the liver has a chance. What do you guys think about those toxins?
You want your headphones?
No.
I see many comments about toxins that actually they like a you know a trend, a wellness trend, and it's made up by wellness industry in order to make us pay more money. But honestly, like there are studies that actually show that all these toxins can be found, I think more than 267 or something toxins can be found in the umbilical cord when, you know, right when babies are born. And you can test the blood sample from umbilical cord and you can see how many toxins actually present there. So we're exposed to those toxins, and not only us, but our children exposed to these toxins as well. Modern day dentistry practice can lead to toxicity. I'm not sure what you mean, Dana. Can you tell me more about what kind of practices do you mean? I would say the fluoride is definitely, it's a form of aluminum heavy metal. And so when we use this fluoride treatment, of course, it's contributing to heavy metal toxicity. Mercury fillings that we had back in the day, I don't think they make them right now, but back in the day when we had them, definitely contributing to heavy metal toxicity. Yeah. So those huge contributing factor when we talk about mercury and aluminum in the body. So let's talk about weight equation. I love this equation because it makes so much sense. When I learned about it, it makes so much sense to me. When I had my first client coming to me with a weight gain, and she said, I'm on such a healthy diet, I'm exercising, I don't know what's happening with my body. I started gaining weight. She was my first client. And I was like, how interesting. And she's like, what's causing it? And I was like, I don't know, but let's see. So I would go inside her body. And as soon as I entered the body and I asked the creator to guide me, what's happening inside her body? Why is she gaining weight? The creator took me to the liver. And I was shown exactly how the liver is kind of filled up and with so much toxins it can't control them and it can't perform other functions, which is producing bile because it's overwhelmed by toxins. And so when we are young, right, let's be honest, it doesn't matter what we eat. We usually don't gain weight. At least that was my experience. I could eat whatever I want and I wouldn't gain weight. Workout, exercising, of course, it's important component. I would never say that it doesn't make any difference. No, but when we in our 20s, we have only food you eat and how exercise you are, how much calories you burn in. Those are two parts of the equation. Now, when you reach your 40s, or for some women, it's 35, 36, you have to deal with the liver index, right? So you add in the liver index, and now the liver is hugely affecting how the calories that you eat, the fats that you eat, how they've been processed, right? It's not a factor for 20 years old, but when you're in your late 30s, your 40s and 50s, it's a huge factor. Do you have any questions about it? So let's talk about signs of low-grade inflammation. Inflammation, let's be clear, inflammation is usually caused by low-grade viral or bacterial infection, usually viral infection. There are some signs of bacterial infection. Usually that would be digestive system or sinus infection, or in the lungs you can have a bacterial infection. But in many cases that would be viral infection or a combination of bacterial and viral infection. So signs of low-grade inflammation that is caused by viral or bacterial infection can be problems with thyroid, like hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, brain fog that we experience, right? That's also caused by inflammation. which usually viral infection. All sorts of digestive issues like bloating, constipation, right, usually is a signs of low-grade viral infection. Insomnia, believe it or not, is caused by there can be many factors, but one of them is definitely inflammation, heart palpitations, arrhythmia, joint pain, frozen shoulder. By the way, joint pain and frozen shoulder, I see them constantly associated with menopause. They're not associated with menopause. Otherwise, people who don't have menopause wouldn't have these problems. But my husband had a joint pain in his 30s. Menopause? No. So many people actually experience those problems without being any close to menopause. So how can we associate those symptoms with menopause? It's like, you know, fundamentally wrong. Reproductive organs have their own issues that are caused by viral infections or both viral and bacterial infections, endometriosis, PCOS, cysts, fibroids, heavy periods, by the way, also caused by inflammation, which is low-grade viral or bacterial infection. If you see eye floaters, you know that's a viral infection. If you hear ear ringing, you know it's a viral infection. If you have a migraine, you know that's a viral infection, right? All of these things, toothache, cramps, um, caused by viral infections, sciatica nerve problems, it's a low-grade viral infection, right? So if you know the root cause, you can address it, you can deal with it. But if you wrongly associate the symptom with menopause, I think you just set women for failure, for suffering. And this is why I want to share with you information about what's actually happening in the body and how to address it. So usually we would have some viral infection being present in the body. They would go inside the liver, inside gut, intestinal lining, and then from there they will spread around the body, right? And so eventually viruses will reach thyroid and will nest there. They will reach reproductive organs and they will start causing our problems there. They will cause inflammation of the nervous system associated with other problems. And they also cause problems in the liver. So if you see that I intentionally put kind of arrows in the both directions, because yes, a struggling liver, overloaded liver will cause problems like lower immune system, right? Which will increase inflammation in the body. But at the same time, more viruses you have present in the body, the more liver will be struggling as well. So those are kind of two factors adding to each other. So in general, what I learned over the years working with women is that we have two main threats. They come from environment. They're not inside the body in terms of like genes, right? Those are not genetic factors. We're not born with them. Those come from environment we live in right now. Toxins and viruses, bacteria, and mold. And those two threats can be counteract, right, and fight with what I call is care method. And in my practice, the care method includes cleansing the liver, anti-inflammatory protocol, rebalancing hormones, and doing emotional release. Because the way I practice is I choose to follow holistic approach, and holistic I mean following the wholeness of the body. When I look at the body, I always see how those symptoms work together, how the liver is contributing to problems in the digestive system, for example, to stomach issues, to intestinal lining issues. I also see how endocrine system is contributing to liver problems, for example, right? I'm also watching how liver issues contributing to reproductive system problems, or how brain is suffering from the liver condition, right? I always see those things connected together, how they influence each other, how they contribute to each other problems, right? Keeping all the systems of the body together. That's what my goal is usually, put all the pieces of the puzzle together. But I will never focus solely on the body. When I go inside the body, I usually see, okay, there is the physical aspect, but I also see like organs being surrounded by certain energies of feelings. Like you can see, I can see, for example, liver being surrounded by anger, suppressed anger, or hatred. Even if it's a righteous anger and righteous hatred, it's still overloading the body, it's overloading the liver from inside, right? And so energies of suppressed truth, not expressed, can affect thyroid because it's a throat chakra right here, right? The feelings that we have in our heart, how many heartbreaks you had, that will affect your heart and its ability to actually pump your blood. The fear will affect your kidneys, resentment will affect your kidneys, how they function. Um, Suppressed trauma that wasn't processed properly, the fear and abuse, for example, can be stored in the digestive system, right? So it's an additional, I would say, emotional terrain that will make certain organs vulnerable in the body, which means you have a viral activity in the body, right? You have a liver contributing, but where exactly the virus will settle in usually depends on what kind of emotional energies are present in your body, because usually heavy feelings, we call them negative feelings, they will make organs vulnerable and they will make them prone to developing infections, right? Because believe it or not, the virus is drawn to the organs that have concentrated emotional energies. So that's why I learned that emotional release can be a huge component of healing. We need to release heavy feelings and we need to bring more joy, more love into our life, more excitement, more pleasure. That will help us to fight those pathogens. Because when we are sad, when we're depressed, when we don't value life, guess what? That's exactly where viruses can actually thrive in our bodies. One of my first experiences, and I did many times, when I was communicating to the virus and I asked the virus, what are you doing in this person's body? Because that's what Educator told me to do, to just talk to a virus. And I was like, okay, I will talk to a virus. And I asked the virus, what are you doing in this person's body? And the virus said, well, he's a good host because this body is a great environment for me. I'm so warm and comfy here, and I'm being fed constantly. So I have all the food provided for me, and it's so warm and cozy. And this person doesn't live, I think it was a woman. So she doesn't live her life. She doesn't step in her power. So I have an opportunity to grow, and I will grow anywhere where I will have opportunity, right? And so what we need to do is we need to understand what makes us a good host for viruses and how to actually start fighting them. And one of the aspects is stepping into our power. Start setting boundaries with others, whatever it is on the physical level or emotional level. We need to start setting boundaries. Believe it or not, that if you are unable to set boundaries with your family members, with your husband, with your kids, with your neighbors, the same thing shows up in your body. Inability to set boundaries to pathogens, right? So they always, mental and emotional and spiritual, will be always reflected in the physical. So that's my approach, right? Focusing on the cleansing liver, anti-inflammatory protocol, rebalancing hormones, and doing emotional release and elevating your mood. And I had some amazing clients who were willing to give me testimonial. One of them was Nancy, an amazing woman. I loved working with her, and she started working with me when she had a challenging period in her life. And she said she had a very little life force to meet the challenges. And we addressed her physical, problems. We worked on her liver cleanse and worked on her mold exposure as well. And she lost weight and significantly reduced inflammation. And we also energetically cleared her belief systems. And she was able to regain the sense of well being. And by the way, after we do the energetic cleanse of her beliefs and the body, she was able to get a job again. That's something that she was struggling with. Um, I also had a client, Emily, and she says that working with me was a game changer for her. And instead of feeling overwhelmed in the body with joint pain and low energy and brain fog, she was able to improve her health holistically and notice weight loss and finally feel empowered about her body, which is what I love. I love women to feel empowered. And another testimonial is that Lisa saw amazing improvement in her digestive system. We worked on her what's it called, heartburn, right, and bloating, and within 8 weeks she noticed changes and actually didn't have these problems coming back to her. So it is possible when we know what's causing and how to address it. And if you feel like you're willing to give me a chance, an opportunity to help you, I would be truly honored to do it. I know I'm not everyone cup of tea, right? I'm intuitive person and not everyone likes it. I see clearly what's happening in the body, and some people choose to go to conventional medicine doctors or functional medicine. That's fine. I seriously disagree with most of them, but nonetheless, choose what works for you. If you would like to join my program, I open new um, program, Master Your Body. It's going to be second time when I run this program. I usually work with women one-on-one, but I decided to create a program that will teach women how to take care of themselves. And that's going to be my second round of the program. First one was amazing, and women see great results within a group setting. And that's going to be my second run of this program. And I'm so excited to actually teach more women how to take care of their bodies, how to take care of midlife bodies, how to understand their bodies. And I'm excited to invite you to this program. Let me know if you have any questions. Oh, I see some questions. Can I speak how caffeine directly affects the liver in the body? Yes, I can. Oh, Laura said I would love to join the program. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I would be so happy to have you in the program. Yes, Dana, I can explain exactly what happens, how caffeine affects. So, what happens is that when we drink coffee or let's say matcha, it doesn't really matter, whatever has caffeine in it, right? Caffeine pumps adrenal glands. Adrenal glands start producing more adrenaline, and adrenaline is very toxic for the body, unfortunately. Immune system is hiding from adrenaline wherever it can because adrenaline and cortisol actually very toxic for the body and for the immune system especially. Immune system will suffer greatly when you have lots of coffee, when you drink lots of coffee. You also notice that when we have stress, like chronic stress, right, your immune system will drop significantly. Why? Because stress hormones, the same stress hormones with a little bit different blend, but still, it's blend of adrenaline and cortisol that adrenals forced to produce when we drink caffeine, right? And so when we force our adrenals to produce this blend of adrenaline and cortisol, the liver is supposed to absorb it and remove it, but the liver is already overloading with other stuff. I know that. Okay, I'll have to pick up more and more and remove it from the body to protect the body, right? And so usually when we do a very gentle liver detox, when we work on liver detox and we create enough safe space for the liver, you will notice that you release all the stress hormones. like you become suddenly more emotional for some reason, right? And so many people don't understand why they become emotional during detox, but that's because the liver is releasing your stress hormones that could be associated with the stress that you had like several years ago. And your liver was keeping the stress hormones so they wouldn't hurt the body, right? So when we do detox, we actually allow the liver to release those stress hormones, and we create condition for them safely to be removed from the body. Oh, Dana is interested in the program too. Oh, great. Ladies, I would love to have you in the program. Nothing will make me happy except maybe my daughter. Well, let me tell you more about the program. The thing that the goal that I set for myself in this program is to actually teach women about the root cause of the symptoms. Because if you go to, some menopause practitioners, they will tell you how to manage symptoms. If you go to, for example, they will prescribe you HRT, right? Hormonal replacement therapy. And it can provide some relief, short-term relief, but it doesn't address the root cause, right? And so when you experience symptoms like weight gain or hot flashes or insomnia, joint pain, osteoporosis is super, super common. It is very important to address those symptoms through the root cause of them. Right? So root causes that we address in our program is stagnant liver, toxicity, high levels of toxic heavy metals in the body, low hydrochloric acid in the stomach, high acidity in the body, gut health, inflammation, right? All those bacterial and viral infections that we have. We address the root cause, and guess what? Your symptoms will respond to it. You will notice that you're losing weight. You will notice that you don't have hot flashes anymore. You sleep much better. You don't have joint pain anymore. Don't have bloating anymore. You have more energy. This is this experience and results that my clients receive. And I want you to have it too. I want you to thrive in menopause, not suffer. So that's the symptoms that we usually address inside the program, inside Master Your Body program. Stubborn weight gain, any digestive issues like bloating, cramping, constipation, hormonal imbalances, persistent low energy, insulin resistance, or diabetes, fluid retention, night sweats and hot flashes, frequent UTI and incontinence, one of the quite common symptoms for women, uh, I would say past 50s, right? Joint pain, brain fog, all of this we address inside the program. If you have any other symptoms that you don't see right now, bring them on. I love new challenges. And I want to see what's actually happening in the body. And what I need to do is just to go inside the body and see what's going on. So if you have some symptoms that are not mentioned here, please bring them on. Maybe I will help you with them as well. Is any level of green tea okay to drink? Mm, I would say yes, it definitely has caffeine. Um, not when you do intentional detox. If that's really something that's comforting to you, we can discuss exactly when and how to drink it. But when you work on cleansing your liver, caffeine in your green tea will mess with the liver and it wouldn't allow to detoxify properly. So, do you want to detox or not? Right? It's what you're focusing on. But outside of detox, you can have a cup of tea. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Do you have, ladies, any questions, any symptoms that I didn't mention, but you're struggling with them? You can ask me about them. So, special offer for tonight. And thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me tonight. I'm so glad that you made it live. Thank you for finding time and thank you for prioritizing yourself. Because all I want for us women is to learn how to prioritize our health, our bodies, how to prioritize our needs. Because when we prioritize ourselves, we actually can only make our life better. Our loved ones will actually benefit from it. So early bird price for the program right now is $697 for group setting. You become part of the group. We have a weekly meetings and I will come up with a healing protocol for you. And then you work on this for 3 months, right? So you still learn about the body. I'm still answering your questions, but I'm not working with you one-on-one throughout the program. And $997 option is with one-on-one support, which means we meet each other one-on-one 3 times throughout the meeting, right? We do intuitive body scan and we adjust our priorities based on what's happening in your body. It's actually a very good deal. It's a pretty much steal because usually I offer a one-on-one intuitive body scan. You can find it on my website. It is for $700. 90 minutes intuitive body scan, which is full body scan with a developed personalized protocol, healing protocol, is 700. And here I'm offering to you 3 meetings with me one-on-one, and it's only additional 300. I think it's a great deal, and I would definitely take it. But if you want to just stay within a group setting, it's still a great program, and you will see results because I provide all the information for you. I teach you how to take care of your body. Okay. And why I do this program is because I don't want you guys to get any worse. Why I think that midlife and the perimenopause and menopause is such an important critical period of life and our health. Because if we don't take care of those first symptoms, first signs of imbalance, that's what we're going to have. Eczema, psoriasis are consequences, more serious consequences of stagnant liver and inflammation, right? Because it's a combination of stagnant liver plus viral infection. If you have ADHD, anxiety, and depression, that's a sign of stagnant liver, right? And so they can exacerbate. And I can't tell you how many clients I had who actually developed anxiety and depression along the line in perimenopause, right? So those things can get worse while in menopause. Digestive system usually become worse while we age. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes is a consequences of stagnant liver. So many women who start noticing symptoms like weight gain in their 40s later can be diagnosed with diabetes. High blood pressure, cancer, heart attack, right? Those are very common, unfortunately, cardiovascular diseases that are caused by stagnant liver and inflammation. If you allow me to join me a few words about what cancer is, what I learned about cancer when I was working with my first clients, is that cancer is usually a combination of several factors. That's why it's a complicated disease. But 3 main factors of cancer is stagnant liver, unable to detoxify properly, right? And so there will be toxins present in the body. Second factor would be low-grade viral infection, like inflammation in the body. And the third factor would be stagnant lymphatic system, which is quite often associated with liver, right? But still. So the stagnant lymphatic system makes it impossible pretty much for immune system to reach certain areas of the body and address them. When we have flow in the body, we significantly reduce the risk of cancer because we allow the immune system to move through the body, right, through the body fluids and actually take care of cancer cells. We have cancer cells showed up in our body all the time because we have combination of viruses and toxins in our body. But whenever it will become a tumor, where it will become cancer, hugely depends on how well your viruses feel in the body, how much toxins you have in the body, and how stagnant your lymphatic system is. So if we want to prevent cancer, we need to address inflammation in the body, we need to address the liver, and we need to address lymphatic system. And that's what I want for you. And I am here to share with you everything I learned and to prepare you for your happy life. Oh, thank you, Dana. That's so nice. I usually do fasting 1 3 days, and after fasting, I feel much better. Um, I I have my own comments on fasting. I think when we fast, what happens is that my problem with fasting, yes, it's usually much better than I would say standard American diet. But the problem with fasting is that if you're not completely bedridden, right? If you staying active and you're not laying in bed all 3 days, what happens is that your body still requires energy. You need a fuel. So where do you take this fuel? Some people would think that the body starts using fats. No, no, it's not. If you don't provide for your body fuel, what you will do is, again, you will experience adrenals pumping adrenaline. And yes, while it's still easier on the body, on the liver, and the liver at least won't be overloaded with fats during the fast, it still has to remove, you know, stress hormones that are produced by adrenal glands. And so if you want to do fasting for 3 days, I would say at least you can replace water with juices, for example. Juices like, I don't know, coconut water, watermelon juice. You can bring celery juice, cucumber juice, amazing, asparagus juice. You can bring those juices and then you can fast. That's what I think. Now, 3 days, 1 to 3 days is, I would say probably 2 days can be good. 3 days is a little bit too much. I would stay with 2 days. But bring lots of juices that have high levels of glucose that will allow your liver and your adrenal glands at least find some kind of compromise, right? So the adrenal glands wouldn't have to pump as much adrenaline in your bloodstream and your liver wouldn't have to take care of it. So that would be a solution. What do you think about it? Let me tell you that this thing. I used to practice fasting. That's why what I'm sharing is coming from experience. I used to practice fasting, intermittent fasting. I used to practice juice cleanses. And now I do a different gentle liver detox. And the effect and the results that I see from the gentle liver detox that I teach inside my program is much greater than the results that I had from intermittent fasting or results that I had from juice fasting. Does it make sense? In my experience, gentle liver detox that I teach, which is basically associated with the certain foods, in my experience, works greater, works better. But you do you. Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. Ladies, if you have any questions, please let me know. Tatiana, Carmen, thank you. Thank you for joining live. So I'm here to answer your questions. If you don't have any questions, then I hope to see you inside the program. Official start will be November 15th. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you. You can use me. Have a good day or night, wherever you are.